we go. Here we go, folks. There we go. What's up everyone, this is FP Sticks, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you a bunch of the battles that led up to me hitting legend rank in Go Battle League, which is rank 24. I was able to hit this using the team of Venusaur. I know Venusaur is kind of an interesting pick in this Holiday Cup with so many fire and like ice types and flying types floating around, but I'll kind of talk through why I enjoyed running Venusaur in the lead. And then Sableye with Return as the safe swap. I know technically on PvPoke, Power Gem is listed as the preferred move there, but I really prefer Return for when Sableye is stuck against a Charmer. Return just hits for a lot more damage, or if you're stuck against an Obstagoon or something like that, it hits for a lot more damage there. And then running a Lowland Graveler in the back with the typical moveset of Rock Blast and Stone Edge there. So in this video, I'm actually going to be showcasing a bunch of these battles in the beginning where I lose the lead pretty hard, but I'm able to come back from that situation, and I really enjoyed running this team. So as always, if you appreciate these like kind of more in-depth videos breaking down my teams of what I'm doing here, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into these battles. All right, getting right into these battles here, you're gonna notice my typical play style with a lot of the teams that I run is pretty aggressive. I tend to switch out a lot and try to operate on an energy advantage as much as possible. I know a lot of people in the comments have said before, I've ran this team and it sucks, it doesn't work. Well, I do have a kind of specific play style that allows a lot of these teams to function, especially when you have a double weakness in the back. Both Sableye and a Lowland Graveler kind of struggle against Obstagoon, so you kind of need to bait that out here. But as you can see, I led my Venusaur into a Frostlass in this first game here, which technically is a losing matchup for Venusaur. The CMP of Venusaur versus Frostlass is somewhat IV based, and since my Venusaur is fairly high ranked PvP wise, I know my attack is kind of lower, and so most likely I will lose the CMP tie with the Frostlass. So I'm going to be able to get some nice farm off of this Stunfisk. Typically, whatever Sableye baits out, if it's like in a Lowland Graveler or something that doesn't want to see Venusaur, Venusaur is able to get a lot of farm coming out of this. And then Graveler up a shield, even though I'm stuck against this Vigoroth here, it's not that bad. Stone Edge does not one-shot, but I should be able to Volt Switch down this Vigoroth, and then I'll have energy stored. I actually let this go because I knew that this Vigoroth had 2 moves stored, so I saved a shield for this Venusaur. I'm going to be able to Vine Whip it down, get to this Frenzy Plant, and take out the Frostlass. So when I lead my Venusaur into a Frostlass, I know that if I can get an energy advantage late game, it's really going to help me out. So I like Venusaur because it has play against the counter users as well as the Charmers, and Lantern is kind of rising in popularity right now. But you saw me lead Venusaur into Skarmory. Terrible matchup, so I'm going to switch into Sableye. They switch in their Stunfisk, and so this is amazing. My Graveler does not have to see this Stunfisk in the back. So if I can get a shield advantage out of this matchup, which I was able to do right there, that is essentially the goal right there. Sableye has achieved the goal of getting the shield advantage, because now my Venusaur can come in, farm down, and I'm just really going to bank on the fact that a Lowland Graveler up a shield. I know it already has play against Skarmory. My opponent actually makes a huge mistake there and gives up switch advantage, most likely thinking that I might not have an answer to Skarmory in the back, or this indicates that they have another response to Venusaur. So I'm thinking that they might have an Alolan Marowak. So I'm going to farm this Skarmory all the way down. I get hit by a Brave Bird, that's okay. I have 100 energy loaded. If they bring out the Stunfisk, I know that they're weak to this in the back. There's the Stunfisk. I immediately go for the Stone Edge here and see what they want to do. They shield this, so I know that they're very weak to this in the back. They really want to get this Mud Bomb off. I will commit shields. I am anticipating that it's actually a Dugong, which is not what I was expecting at all. So that was very risky of them to give up shield advantage or switch advantage on that Skarmory, and because I was able to get such a hefty farm, it really put me in a favorable position. So I was able to capitalize on that error there, able to farm down the Dugong, and then Venusaur is going to be able to take out the Stunfisk. Here's the thing with Venusaur. It either does very well against the opponent's team, or it has zero play. It's very polarizing in its ability here. But sometimes, people assume that, there might not be a lot of grass types out there because there are so many things that beat grass in this meta. And those teams, you can really capitalize on their Venusaur weakness. My opponent switches in the Shadow Vic against my Sableye here. I'm going to be able to rip off 2 foul plays just barely. I led my Venusaur into an Altaria, so obviously that's very bad for me. But I have a shield advantage. Look at the power of Sableye. I was able to get a shield advantage there. Really good for me. Unfortunately, I don't have anything that can farm down the Victory Bell from this health. So I do shield this up, and it is a Sludge Bomb. So really big shield there. My opponent, looks like they were lagging a little bit, but I do farm up to back-to-back Sludge Bombs here, or almost back-to-back Sludge Bombs. And then I'm just looking to immediately swap here. And again, I'm just going to see if Graveler can carry in the back. I'm anticipating that I'm going to get hit by a Dragon Pulse, so I do throw the Stone Edge, but they catch on their Dugong. This allows me to Volt Switch down the Dugong without getting hit by a move, and I have a Stone Edge loaded for that Altaria. So Alolan Graveler really putting in a lot of work in the back. Once shields are down, the Stone Edge hits for so much damage. Very good game there. Venusaur into Altaria. Very bad once again. Sableye safe swap. Now, I do not throw a move immediately. I never throw a move immediately here, because typically what happens is my opponent does not have a hard counter to a Sableye if they're staying in with Altaria. So the only way that I can potentially win this secondary matchup with Sableye is if I start with a huge energy advantage. So they switch in Dugong. I'm going to be able to rip off like 3 foul plays here. We're even in shields now, which is good for me. I will shield up this Icy Wind. However, I'm noticing that I'm most likely not going to be able to regain swap here just because of how low health I am. I get the final shield, and I'm just going to switch into Graveler. And right there, that's a prime example of very aggressive gameplay. I knew I was going to lose that secondary matchup, and I was going to be stuck in an unfavorable matchup anyways. So no point in letting my Sableye get farmed down. I'm able to land a Stone Edge on this Lantern. This is great. This offers a lot of farm potential for my Venusaur. And if I can land some Sludge Bombs on the Altaria, that's going to do some decent chunks of damage. Hydro Pump comes through. It does do a lot of damage. This is also a Water Gun Lantern, so it generates energy slower, but does more fast move damage. They bring in the Dugong. I have to throw some energy here because the Ice Shards are just going to do too much. I'm able to get to a Sludge Bomb here. And then I know that I'm going to get Dragon Breath down. So I switch into Sableye, avoid getting farmed, and I'm barely able to reach this foul play. This game was insanely close. And foul play is just enough to take out that Altaria. Very good game. Venusaur into Altaria again. Very bad. Gonna immediately switch. I accidentally mistap and do one Vine Whip, which is not great. They switch in Frostlass onto my Sableye that has an energy advantage. So I'm just going to win swap here. Overfarming just a little bit. Now I'm going to throw the foul play. I did see that they got the extra Powder Snow through, which is not ideal, but they let this go. They give me switch advantage, which this kind of indicates to me that there is probably an Alolan Marowak in the back or something that can beat my Venusaur. The only reason that they would be okay with losing switch like that and gaining a shield advantage is if they feel confident that they can beat my Venusaur in the back. And there's the Alolan Marowak, so I did read the team correctly. Now, if I can sneak in an extra Volt Switch in this matchup, it's really, really nice, but my opponent is being very smart and overfarming a lot here, forcing me to throw the charge move first so I can't try to get in an extra fast move. It takes 2 Bone Clubs to KO Alolan Graveler. This is still not in Rock Blast range, unfortunately, but I'm going to throw a Rock Blast here and see what they want to do. They let that go, which is absolutely crazy. I'm going to throw another Rock Blast here. and they let that go as well. So I don't really know what they're doing here, because now I can just bring out my Venusaur and Vine Whip it down. I survive a Sky Attack just fine. My opponent must have thought that I had loaded energy in the back, but again, sometimes you win because you make good plays. Sometimes you win because you capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. So Venusaur into Lapras, this actually is not that great for Venusaur in the 2 shields you lose. You get to Frenzy Plant at the same pace that Lapras gets to Surf, and so I always just throw immediately to force the CMP. They sack the Lapras, and there's no sense in me staying in there with my Venusaur to get farmed down. I bait out the Wigglytuff, totally fine by me. This is where return really comes in clutch. It puts it in more so of a farm down range for either of my Pokemon here. I know that they have the Alolan Marowak in the back, so obviously saving the shields for my Graveler is the win condition here. So here you see me actually stop attacking and I don't even throw a move because I want more farm with my Graveler. I know that the Alolan Marowak already has some energy, so the only way that I can hang with that in the 2 shields is if I'm able to get some more energy off of that secondary matchup. Gonna have to shield up everything that they're throwing here, and it's very crucial that I can either sneak in an extra Volt Switch or I don't allow them to get in extra Fire Spins, because this is very dicey in the energy management here at the end. I have to shield this. I'll actually let this go because I knew that I would barely survive. What a risky no shield. I have back-to-back rock Blasts here, and this Rock Blast should barely be enough. There comes the final Fire Spin, which would most likely KO me. Very, very close game there. My opponent sacked the Lapras, and I aggressively swapped out once the Alolan Marowak came in because there's no sense in staying in. Okay, this is a very tough battle here. This is somewhat of a neutral lead. My opponent switches into Aerodactyl. I have not played against a Shadow Aerodactyl in this cup, so I'm very slow to make a decision here, but I switch into my Graveler. I will have to commit 1 shield because Rock does not resist Rock, but I'm going to be able to farm this down. If Whimsicott comes out, which it does, Stone Edge, these Rock moves hit for neutral, but the Volt Switches are resisted and the Charms really add up. And Whimsicott is a lot bulkier than I originally anticipated, because that Rock Blast is not enough to KO, and I get Charmed down. Very bad for me. I'm going to bring in my Sableye here, but they preserve it, and it's a Lit Leo in the back. Lit Leo in the back. Really rough for me. If I would have still had my Graveler here, I would have been in a very favorable scenario. But if I were to have broadened my Sableye out onto the Aerodactyl, it's kind of an awkward matchup that they could potentially flip that matchup. So in hindsight, obviously, like bringing the Sableye onto the Aerodactyl was the correct play, but I had no idea that there was going to be a Lit Leo in the back. So really nice play by my opponent there. Venusaur and Obstagoon. So this is really why I like Venusaur in the lead. Obviously my backline is crazy weak to this Obstagoon, so I never shield the first one. If they don't boost, I can win this in the 2 shield, but it is very, very close. You really want to make sure that your opponent does not get free counters through as much as possible. Again, if you have not watched the fast move denial video that Wallower has posted, make sure to check that out. So I'm going to throw another Frenzy Plant here. I got to get rid of this Obstagoon. They double shield, so I will commit my last shield as well. I can't farm this thing down with either of my Pokemon. I overfarm just a little bit. I'm keeping track of their energy. It takes 5 counters for them to get to the Night Slash. I'm able to win the lead. I know I'm going to get farmed by something. It's a Frostlass, so I don't even stay in there to allow that to happen, because Frostlass in a no shield scenario with shields up is just bad news for anything. So again, another example of me like playing very aggressive with the swaps there and not allowing to get farmed. Very, very crucial. Energy management is extremely important, especially at these top ranks. I know I'm going to get hit by a Stone Edge, but this offers me really nice farm down that gets me the perfect amount of energy to land this Stone Edge on the Frostlass and take this game here. Not allowing my Venusaur to get farmed was the play that allowed me to win that game. Good game. Venusaur and a Lantern. This is the dream. This is absolutely the dream. There's the Frostlass. Now, this Frostlass as a safe swap is very, very common. And it's really important that you get your Sableye on the Frostlass within 1 Powder Snow's worth of energy. So you have to be extremely fast here and not allow this Frostlass to get any extra Powder Snows in the secondary matchup, or you need to get an extra Shadow Claw through, because otherwise this gets very sketchy. Out comes the Lantern again, and Sableye is fully loaded here, going to be able to get a lot of energy. Now, I'm kind of reading that my opponent is just going to sack this Lantern, which is why I go for the return here. I don't feel like they're going to shield it, and they don't. Really good for me. It's a Skarmory in the back, and this is very favorable for me. I have the counters aligned where I need to, and so my opponent concedes there. Very good game. Venusaur into Lantern. You love to see it. Lantern is becoming more and more popular. There's a Frostlass safe swap. I was a little bit slower on this swap here. I think this might be the sketchy game. I have to shield this up. Sableye and Frostlass get to their charge moves at the exact same pace. They also got an extra Powder Snow there, so I'm now like 3 Powder Snows behind, 3 fast moves behind. So I believe this is the game where I make a very big mistake, and then I learn from it later on. Because look at this, I'm trying for the farm down. Oh man, it barely survives. Very bad. Very, very bad. I'm down a shield. I've lost swap. They still have a Lantern that I have to deal with. But by some miracle, there's a Wigglytuff in the back. And so I'm just farming up here. I'm assuming that they're going to shield this Wiggly, but I want to get... Okay, they actually let it go through. And at this point, I just need to get to back-to-back Frenzy Plants. I was worried about getting hit by a move, so I just store a Frenzy Plant and then swap here. I know that Venusaur wins CMP against the Lantern, and these Volt Switches just further put the Lantern into Frenzy Plant range, just to guarantee that it's going to KO. Stone Edge does a lot of damage, and I'm actually able to Volt Switch down the Lantern. Good game. Venusaur into Lapras again. If my opponent takes this to the 2 shield, I don't want to be around for that, so... I'm most likely going to switch out of this matchup if they start committing shields. They do shield that up. And they're building up to Ice Beam's worth of energy, but I know that this is just a Surf. I'm going to shield it anyways. And then I'm going to throw this Frenzy Plant and most likely swap here, because I don't want to get Ice Sharded down. There's the second shield. I tried to get out of there, but I couldn't. So I'm just going to let this go. So I'm going to lose the lead. That's okay. I have shields down, and as long as there's not a Stunfisk in the back, this energy from Graveler is just going to be so nice. My opponent is staying in here. They let me farm down. Out comes Vigoroth. Gonna go for the Stone Edge, and then most likely gonna swap here. No sense in staying in. Or I might try to catch a Body Slam. Nope, I just immediately swap. They are in foul play range. It's a Skarmory in the back. It's a Steel Wing Skarmory in the back. So in my head, I'm thinking, all right, I know Graveler should win CMP against Vigoroth. So if I can get a farm down on this Skarmory and get to a charge move, I can take out that Vigoroth. Because I know they don't have a Bulldoze, which is why I stopped attacking right there. That's 2 Volt Switches worth of energy. 1, 2. This allows me to get to Stone Edge and take this game here. Energy management is everything. And knowing who can win CMP, very, very important. Venusaur and Obstagoon. If this thing boosts, I'm in a world of hurt. But my opponent safe swaps a Skarmory. Very bold play. So anytime this happens, I fully take advantage of this situation. I go full fast move, farm down the entire way. I leave with 100 energy. I know the Obstagoon is going to come back in, and so I want minimal health to be farmed and maximum energy stored. No sense in baiting here, straight Stone Edge. I should be 1 Volt Switch away from reaching another Stone Edge. And I'm able to get there. This is amazing damage. They don't shield. It's an Alolan Marowak in the back, so they were just banking on the fact that maybe I only had 1 Alolan Marowak answer, but no, I have 2 here. If I get double baited here, it's a little bit scary. So they bait me in the first time. At this point, I probably should just be going straight fast move beatdown here, but if I get to back again, I'm going to be able to throw. I actually do shield up the Shadow Ball here, and that was essentially their only win condition if they were able to land that good game. All right, I love seeing Vigoroth in the lead. In the 2 shield, I actually think that Vigoroth can win this, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong about that, but I know that this matchup is a little bit sketchier compared to the Obstagoon matchup, just because these body slams hit for way more damage. So I get a shield there. I'm just gonna switch to my Sableye at that point. I switch out of the lead so frequently anytime it's like a neutral matchup like that, because I want to bait out a potential Vigoroth or a potential Obstagoon in the back. With a lot of these ABB teams, you know, where you do have a double weakness in the back, if you're stuck in an endgame scenario against that one Pokemon that you don't want to see, that is your own fault for not baiting out that Pokemon. So you do kind of have to operate with an aggressive play style here. Let's see what they want to bring out. Most likely the Vigoroth, they do. I am scared of the Bulldoze, but they bait me with Body Slam. That is so bad. And then they bring in Frostlass, and I maybe should have undercharged this Stone Edge, but man, that thing does not fully KO, and I'm able to get one Vine Whip there. I force the Vigoroth to throw energy here, and I actually catch a Bulldoze, which is amazing. This allows me to get to a Stone Edge and safely KO this Vigoroth. Rock Blast is such a terrible move, I'm actually not even sure if it would be enough to KO it there. It would have been very close. I love seeing Obstagoon in the lead. I am not seeing a whole lot of variety in the Holiday Cup meta with team comps. Lots of Obstagoon, Vigoroth, Frostlass, Alolan Marowak. These are extremely common picks and are literally on almost everyone's team, which is why more off-meta picks like the Barrel and Litleo have so much play, because Frostlass is almost on every single freaking team because it's very, very good. So I'm able to KO the Frostlass. I'm down a shield. That's fine by me. This return is going to do a lot of damage to this Obstagoon. They shield it. This is getting very worrisome for me. I still have the alignment that I want, which is good. But this Obstagoon is going to have so much loaded energy. I'm able to get to this last second foul play. This is actually huge because it puts this Obstagoon for sure in Frenzy Plant range. And if my Venusaur is not able to take it out, then my Graveler can potentially farm this down. They commit their second shield here, really not good for me, and I'm slow to this switch. Now I need to leave this matchup with as much energy stored as possible. They go for the Shadow Bone here. I don't get the defense spell. That's really good for me. I have to shield here. I know that my Alolan Graveler wins CMP against the Obstagoon, but my opponent overfarms. Maybe they have Shadow Bone Fire Blast, but I'm receiving the energy for the Volt Switch right now. I shield, and then I stop tapping, and I under tap to get to this Stone Edge to guarantee that I don't accidentally throw another Volt Switch. That's very, very important, and I'm able to win that match there. Good game. Another Obstagoon in the lead. This is like deja vu all over again. So I'm always keeping my eye on that top right corner for the swap. There it is. I don't dump my energy. I store it. And we are once again in the dream scenario. Fully Volt Switch this down. Don't need a shield. This is great. I want minimal health. I want maximum energy. And this is really good for me. And again, I don't think there's any point in baiting here. I have 100 energy. So let's just start ripping off these nukes. First Stone Edge gets shielded, and they actually throw right away, which is very strange. Maybe they didn't know that Graveler won CMP there. They give up swap advantage. It's a Drifloon in the back. I have a shield advantage, and I was pretty fast to this swap. And Sableye is a very hard punish to this Drifloon here. And so I have the alignment that I need. I have the shield advantage that I need. I still have energy stored on Venusaur, so we're looking very, very nice here. Even if this is an Icy Wind, I do shield it just in case. Farming, farming, farming. Gonna throw the foul play here. Obstagoon has to commit energy to taking out my Sableye, and I can just get to this return, which won't be enough to KO, but I can go for the combo play with my Venusaur to land this Frenzy Plant. This was actually CMP, fine by me. Night Slash is not going to take me out, and then I can safely swap and guarantee that I'll win CMP here, and Frenzy Plant will be able to KO. I think we have one more battle here. Hope you all enjoy these kind of more in-depth analysis with these battles. These were some pretty intense games for sure. Lapras lead again. Again, I lose this in the 2-shield. So I always throw Frenzy Plant immediately here. Even if they catch on something like an Alolan Marowak or a Skarmory, I don't care. I just want to try to guarantee that they don't get in any extra fast moves and that I'm in control of who has to shield first. They get an extra Ice Shard through, so I do notice that. I got the second shield, so I'm going to swap into Sableye, see what they want to do about it. No need to shield this first serve. Sableye with an energy and a shield advantage is pretty powerful. Out comes Altaria. They have Lapras, they have Altaria. If Altaria is their best response to Sableye, I'm thinking it might be an Alolan Marowak in the back. If that's the case, then save the shield for my Graveler, and I win this game. Gonna bring out the Graveler here. Dragon Pulse is no joke, so I will shield this up. They actually go for Dazzling Gleam, okay. I can't farm this all the way down. I cannot. I knew that this was going to be a Sky Attack, but I actually do farm this all the way down. No, I was worried that they were going to get to another move, and so I store 100 energy and then switch into Venusaur. What is in the back? They bring out Lapras again. And then they switch into Vigoroth to catch. So I'm worried that the Lapras has a Surf stored, but I know that my Graveler wins CMP. I have 100 energy here, so I go immediately for the Stone Edge, I win CMP here, and then I go immediately for the Rock Blast and win CMP there, and I should be able to take this game. Thank you all very much for watching. Best of luck in your Holiday Cup battles. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate the content, and I will see you all in the next video.